I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
Sean here, and I try to make videos a lot, and then I get done with them, and I listen back, and there's always some weird sound. Yesterday I did it, and it was pouring down rain, so it sounded like I was in a hurricane, but today, hopefully it will work. I want to talk about Lorne and tunneling. Tunneling is not the technical term. It's sort of a form of denial, I guess you would say, but Lorne is the master of it. We know he isolates. We know he has no one else to voice his opinions to, and without these catfish women, he would have no one. And as we said before, if you lie to someone and nobody hears it, is it still a lie? I would argue no. It becomes the truth because you're the only one that hears it. Lorne, he does run away, but more importantly, he tunnels. He just digs deep, digs himself in, gets a call from the next catfish. And he can say whatever he wants, because the more catfish women they are, the more he can just blow it off. He can just say, yeah, previous catfish. He won't take responsibility. He'll never take responsibility. Lorne's the kind of guy on The Price is Right. The other guy bets $1, and Lorne bets $1 million. He would lose and then argue that 1 million is a bigger number than 1. Lorne, you were trying to get closer to the price of a washer and dryer, my man. You bid $1 million. Yeah. He just won't accept responsibility. He could shoot somebody and blame it on the bullet. He could shoot somebody and blame it on the gun. Shoot somebody, blame it on the fact that they were standing right in front of him. All of that stuff is easy to develop. It's easy to assimilate this wonderful lie, pieced together by other lies, until you've got the parts of the lies that people will believe. You've got like a Justin Dustin, what's your function? You've got McFetridge, and he'll admit to lesser offenses, and then eventually it will come out, well, yeah, I won't do that. I mean, I'm just being honest. By the way, on Slash's stream, I can't remember the name, you'll have to forgive me, but geez, he could do one hell of a Justin Dustin impression. It was incredible. But you admit to little things that people will accept. Then all of those lies over the years, this is how it works. They remember these denial, these pathological liars. People will never take responsibility. They remember the little things that got them sympathy, the little things that got people off their back, and it just keeps getting better and better for them when they meet new people. Now, eventually, those new people are going to find out. But in the beginning, he's going to put out those little lies that he told. And they're going to be like, oh, Lorne, I understand. You did what you did, but, it's forgiven. It's in the past. Move on. Of course, they're going to realize shortly after, he'll never move on. He'll continually blame the same things, the same people. But those little bitty outlying lies that he's told, they're going to come to the forefront. I was messed up at the time. He doesn't use meatballs, macaroni, and cheese. I think he understands that, okay, nobody's buying that, and it's kind of ridiculous. But it's still the reason. Well, the reason Betty's job went the way it did is I was treated poorly. I wasn't in the right mindset. I just wanted somebody, think about this, I just wanted somebody who cared about me. I wasn't in the right mindset because I didn't think anybody else would care about me. And I'd been talking to everybody else, and I just happened to come across her. And it was just chat at first, and then she started showing interest. And I couldn't help it. I was sucked right in. I finally found somebody who wanted to pay attention to me. You just meet a guy like that, and you hear all this crap, and you're looking at him. He already looks pathetic. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, I can see that. Maybe that's true. He's sitting in church. You and your kids are sitting in the same pew, and you find out later what actually happened. Then you and your kids will be sitting across the room. God forbid you said hello to Lorne and asked about him at all, because he's going to be following you through the church. And the church, really, it's one of the last places you want to make a scene. But I guarantee you I would. I'd be like, look, pedo, you need to move. If you've ever had military friends, they have big fish stories, things they did, things that get people excited, and they bring those out. Things Not about your actual job, but like, yeah, this one time we did, and then someone goes, wow, are you serious? That's really cool. Okay, note that. Make a mental note. May not even know you're doing it. And you just keep those. What impressed the girls when I talk to them? Now later on, as they become adults, more things on the surface we want to dig into because we've met a lot of people. We know what surface information is. We want to hear about the real story. And that's when Lorne's tunnel comes into play. I picture a tunnel for Lorne like he's on the other end, like in The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, where Bard is trying to talk to Thorin, and there's a huge distance between, well, not a huge, but you know what I mean. A good distance between them, and they're talking between this fallen pillar of some sort that had a hollow center, and that's what I picture Lorne. He's talking. I'm listening. He's talking, and the other person's listening. They're never going to get close enough because Lorne can just run away from the truth. We know his diversion tactics. We know his manipulation tactics. He's going to try to pull you into that creepy tunnel. He's going to try to pull you in. And I don't know if I've used this lately. I cannot remember. You have to forgive me. I think I did. About the umbrella with a little bitty tear in it. And the water slowly starts seeping in. And if you use that umbrella with the tear in it long enough, it's going to collapse. And that's Lorne's life. That's his lies. That's what he tells people. He's shielding himself from life. The rain of life. The circle of life. Shielding himself. But that little tear that he only allows truth to come into his world, it's going to collapse and it's going to fall down on him. And what happens with every single relationship? Well, he doesn't have relationships. Catfish relationships, when they start pressing and they ask him questions. Why are you pressuring me on this, Ramona? Titsing in your panties. It just collapses. He hasn't learned his lesson. And tunneling away from people and trying to yell down from the other end so they can't see everything. It's dark in the tunnel. Lorne's on the other end. He can say what he wants. He just wants them to come into that tunnel. And when they get to the other end where he's at, then maybe, just maybe, he'll tell the truth. But it's too late. I think at one point we've all withdrawn. We even withdraw from our friends when we've not talked to them for so long that there's just too much catching up and we know it's going to be a long combo. We just pull away unless they call us and we feel like answering the phone. It's just something that humans do. Lorne's never done that. He wants to. He knows he should. He knows these catfish women are going to expose him. You've seen what happens. He just turns into... It's like he creates this chaos because he's hoping that in this maelstrom of the Lorne Armstrong vortex, people will get lost or carried to another place, and they just won't remember all of the stuff they need answers for. I kind of get the feeling that with Roy, it's been like that. Every time Roy is trying to ask him a question, Lorne goes into his hurricane vortex, and Roy, by the end of it, because they're in a drunken stupor, is just like, how did we get here? How did we get here? And Lorne's only hope of a relationship is for a woman to come in and eventually say, how did we get here? How did it come to this? To quote a Lord of the Rings, Theoden of Rohan. How did it come to this? And maybe that's why he creates that chaos. I mean, Winnie was pure chaos. Ask one of your friends, because I asked Howard to listen to it. Ask one of your friends. Ask him to listen to the Winnie calls. Now see, I don't mind sharing this information because Howard will tell you freely. His first wife was a model. Gorgeous. You know, you walk into where the models are, all of these hot women, and there's men in there. Everybody's walking around naked because nobody cares. They're quickly putting on different clothes. Howard said it was crazy for him because he'd never dealt with it. He was a bodybuilder at the time. It was just this open environment. I mean, it would be a nightmare to put Lorne in there. So, notice your tits are a little smaller than hers and you're still in your panties. But the pressures of it. His wife, ex-wife, eventually went crazy and was in the street claiming she was Jesus with a weapon. She absolutely went crazy. And Howard, because he's a good guy, tried to stick by her. It eventually was too much, and he left. and it was a bad divorce, and there were other things involved. But when I had him listen to Winnie, he was like, yo, that bitch is crazy. And for him to say that about character, I mean, think about it. It says a lot. But Lorne thrived in that environment. He thrived in the chaos. He enjoyed the fact that they were fighting all of the time, because you're fighting and screaming, and you're talking about Xavier. Xavier put you up to that? Did Xavier tell you to write that about my mother? I love my mom. I love fingering my mom. I mean, I love my mom's fingers. But for him to say that Winnie was crazy, going back to that, that shows just how desperate and sad Lorne's life is, that he would accept that kind of crazy. That would also imply that maybe he was used to it. This is the kind of stuff I would like to talk to Shin's koala about. Have a serious conversation, because his breakdowns are very insightful, and he seems to understand human nature. I think Shin's is a lawyer, and even if he wasn't a lawyer and he was around criminals a lot, and he was talking to them, he would understand it. Judges. I know one Chief Justice, but it's not somebody that would ever risk his career to come on one of my dumb little videos, you know? But I bet he knows people very, very well. Heard it all. So I think Lorne accepting Winnie being that nuts is okay. So everything that came after Winnie probably seemed like a walk in the park. It was easy for him to go, well, you know, this is a good relationship. We're only screaming and crying every 2 days instead of every hour. At what point, though, are you lost in the storm? That fog you've created. You don't even know what's real and what's not. You don't, better yet, you don't know what to accept. You don't know what truths you want to believe. And sometimes there are so many lies that you've told that have become your truth that you can't find your way to where you need to go. You hate your job. You hate the people you work with. Work has become the chaos in your life. You go home and you think about it, and you stress out, and you're just tired of dealing with the same things over and over. You start to lose your way. Your dreams go away because all you can focus on is work. All you can think about is how am I going to survive the next day. And your dreams go away, and they fade away. When in reality, your dreams are what you should be working towards. I would love to live in Iceland. It's where I would like to retire. I would just like to go to Iceland, be able to bake bread in the ground because of the heat with the snow on top of it. Just do insane stuff. Stare at those waterfalls, the beautiful landscape. I would love it. Visit Bobby Fischer's grave. I mean, it's a dream of mine. Will it ever come to fruition? It's unlikely, because the move would be very expensive. Getting citizenship. I have kids. I wouldn't want to not see them. I already don't see my daughter as much as I would like. But, getting back to my point, you lose focus of your dreams. I don't know what Lorne's dreams were. I can't imagine they were more than being a country music star, but I know there would be too much work to be a country music star, and he would fall from grace. One of the traits of people with bipolar is they'll shut down. They will run away. They will tunnel to get away from whatever it is that's bothering them. The kind of people that sit at work and they get emails, but they don't want to check those emails because they know it's going to be more things they don't want to deal with. I understand tunneling, and I've done it myself, especially when I was younger. And then as you get older, your tunneling becomes different. It's a way to distance yourself from people that are toxic, that have come into your life. They're corrosive. They're eating away at your dreams, at your patience, at your joy. When you get older, you forget what joy is. Life kind of sucks it out of you sometimes, and you've got to pull it back. I don't know if Lorne's ever had joy in his life. He's had giddy. He's been giddy before. You know, he's had that quick fix of, oh my God, come up to Maine, you're making me blush. And a week later, we know, oh, you fuck bitch. You got me all messed up, you fucking cunt. We know that's where it's going. So I don't know if Lorne's ever experienced joy. His mother, who he touts as his inspiration, the heart of his life, he pretends that his mother brings him joy. But as soon as she can't give him anything anymore, as soon as she's not useful, she's gone. Gone. I can tell you somebody right now, and you might have known. Their father was having trouble at the end of their life. He was not a nuisance. Well, maybe they would, I'm trying to think of the word they would have used, an inconvenience. It would have been an inconvenience for them to have to take care of him. When he died, not a tear was shed. First thing they talked about was money. So I think that's the way Lorne would view his mom. And we mentioned that a couple times in different words. But Lorne's a tunneler. Think about Jamie, think about Casey, think about how far he wants to get from his life, and he wants to talk about theirs. If he gets a bit of information, that's all he needs. He's going to spread that to everyone else. He's going to pass it on because everybody else's life is more exciting than his. And when he gets with a woman, he doesn't want her to know anything about his. He wants to know everything about hers for a variety of reasons. Number one, he wants to monitor and find out all of the threats, which is basically any penis within a mile radius. He wants to find all of the threats so he can identify them and go off on them and ask her every single day, ask her a couple surface questions, and then jump right into, tell me about the dicks you touched today. Tell me about the dicks. Were they close to you? Were there any, or as he would say, cocks? Were any of them close to you? Did they try to touch you? Did they try to put their arm around you or touch your leg? My God, this man is so far gone. And so it's no surprise that he tunnels. It's no surprise that he tries to get away. He wants to bury himself. Lorne's the kind of guy that wants to exist, but at the same time doesn't want to exist. He doesn't want anybody to know his name, but he wants people to pay attention to him. It reminds me of Meghan and Harry, or whatever the hell their names are, and South Park did it perfect. Give us our privacy, with the giant bullhorn. I think that's how Lorne is. Don't pay attention to me. Don't pay attention. Which is those acts that he wants to get him attention. It's the only way I can get you to pay attention to me is freaking yell at you and curse you out and call you a bunch of names. Tits and in your panties. So I think Lorne's problem is always going to be that he's got that dark, creepy tunnel nobody wants to come down. Because in that darkness are his truths, and at the other end are his lies. And he knows that nowadays, because of the internet, if people come to where he's at, they're going to have to crawl through that truth. And it's going to be darkness. They're going to have to find out for themselves because Lorne Lynn Armstrong is not going to tell them. Yeah, I admit it, I did it. Oh, that didn't work. Well, you understand, I only did part. They had to corrupt this, corrupt that. So tunneling, in essence, is that long, dark tunnel you have to navigate through. Because Lorne's not going to give you a candle. He's not going to give you a flashlight. You're going to have to feel your way through. And hopefully, you'll get scared a quarter of the way in and back your way out. Lorne will hopefully never get a woman at the other end. I really hope that. I mean, part of me, we joke, wondered if he was going to become gay in the hopes that he could get another desperate man that would do anything to have a partner because he's run out of options with women. Here's the deal. Somebody call him and be trans or gay and tell him that. And tell him how hot he is. And tell him they don't care about his charge. And tell him, oh, when we meet, I'm going to let you have sex with me. And let's see how he responds. But because he knows it's being recorded, most likely, I don't know if he'd go for it. And then at the end, when it came out that he was trying to bang some other guy, which would have driven him crazy for anybody to know, I knew it all along. I knew. You knew with Ramona, Lorne. Did you really? You knew with Ramona? No, you didn't. Because you went through hell just to claim that later on that you knew. You knew it was hell. You knew she was the devil. You knew. So I think at the very end he'd be like, well, I knew. No, you didn't, Lorne. You're becoming so desperate that you need affection from somebody. If Roy moved away, if your mom died, if Uncle Clayton and Sharon, everybody was gone, and nobody could see you, what would you do, Lorne? What would you do? If a man dressed as a woman who was attractive came up to you or called you, proved they were who they said they were. Because there are some seriously attractive trans people. I mean, we're talking like gorgeous. And I think Lorne would fall for one of them. I really do. I think he would be like, oh okay. Well, you are attractive. I mean, are you sure you have a penis? Yes, you don't have a penis. Lorne, I just told you. Nope, you don't have one. You don't have one. Lorne's main concern would not be that it was a man in women's clothes and makeup. It would be, is your cock bigger than mine? So I have no idea where Lorne's going to go. He's tunneled so far. The darkness is full of lies. The night is dark and full of terrors. He's full of lies. And if anybody gets to the end and it's brought to the light, you get to where he's at, all you're going to have is lies. I mean, it's full of truths, but Lorne will lie about it. So I hope nobody ever gets that far. And I think Lorne just needs to tunnel, cover the other end up, and stay in his trailer until he's gone. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.